Hey y'all, it's Goosticky. I'm doing a little tutorial here on how I use logistics pipes to automate my clean room and ore processing from LV to HV, which I think is possibly the most important thing you can do with logistics pipes other than having all of your storage go into it. Like if you don't automate anything else other than storage, this is what you should automate, I think. Anyways, let's jump right into it. Alright, so basically how your ore processing system is going to work is you have a input chest with an extractor module in it. This can be the main export chest for your the main dump chest for your entire inventory if you'd like, because it'll only extract the ores that matter into the ore processing line. Everything else will go back to storage. Personally, I had a specific input chest just for ores because I had a pretty big base, so I needed a quicker time for it to get there. How this works, let's break this for a second, is we have 4 machines in a row, and each of them have a buffer chest with a conveyor feeding into them, and then export out the back when they're finished. You can power them however you like. I'm using debug generators, don't worry about that right now. So to build the setup that we're looking for, we have a machine, a conveyor belt right here on top, set it to import, a buffer chest, and a logistics chassis Mark 1, and make sure to connect it up in the back to the export. Now, we want to put what is a type filter item sync module in here. And basically how this works is you put whatever kind of item you want, in this case raw ore for the macerator, and we put it in here. This macerator will now accept all raw ore into this chest. This will accept all crushed ore, this will accept all purified ore, and this will accept all impure and purified dust. So now we dump all of our ore into here, and it'll automatically transfer it to where it needs to be. So as you can see, the crushed ore is going in there. Purified ore will go to the forge hammer. Impure dust will go to the centrifuge, as well as pure dust, of course. And raw ore will go straight into the macerator. Then, as they produce their outputs, they will cycle back around into wherever they've missed. And after the centrifuge is done processing, it'll dump all of its iron dust into this chest. Unfortunately, if you don't have a buffer chest, sometimes some items will leak. Like let's say there's no room in the macerator for raw iron or something. It will just give up and go back to your main storage chest. So keep an eye out for that. Generally, I like to open this up and type in, say, purified or impure, just to make sure there's no leaks. And if there is, I'll upgrade the buffer. For me, this most often happened with my steam centrifuge. And I highly suggest, I'm just using LV machines for simplified viewing, but I highly suggest using these steam multi-blocks for all of these. It will speed up processing a whole bunch. These, as well as these, are the ones that tend to bottleneck the most, but if you make enough of them or put a big enough buffer, it should be no problem. Alright, now I'll do a little showcase of the clean room and how it works. And after that, I'll do a little tutorial on how to make it yourself. Let's say I want a processor assembly. I'll request it, and all of the items required will go to these guys here, and all of the other items will enter this chest, which is the MV chest, and this chest, which is the HV processor chest. Once these are all done in about 5 seconds, we'll see them export back into the system. All of the excess will send back to that chest, and all of the stuff required will go into these chests. Now if we come on over to the front, we'll see the MV one is now working. And since it's in a clean room, it's able to do the recipe. It'll export it out, come in through here, and import it into here. And the second one will go out in, and it'll start producing an HV circuit. Now if we come back over here, in about 10 more seconds, we'll see it export through this buffer chest and go to the request table. There we are. So as a little tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to do a microprocessor and how to set it up from scratch. You'll want to start on the inside, where we'll have our circuit assembler. I tend to just keep it filled up with as much soldering alloy as I can. You could also automate it with like a fluid extractor in here that just round robins it or something with Ender IO fluid pipes. I never really needed to do that. I would just go in and check to make sure. You also want to check to make sure efficiency is 100% as often as possible. So I have only an LV machine hole here, and I'll place my buffer chest. Warning, if there's a block above it, sometimes you can't open it. I guess it's fine with glowstone though. And we'll place a Ender IO pipe right here. Make sure it's not connected to anything else. And we will have it extract green and then insert brown. Then we'll have the buffer chest insert green and extract blue. Then we'll have the buffer chest feed into the circuit assembler where it'll insert blue and extract brown. And effectively how this works is items in the external buffer will be pumped in one by one into this chest. Then each of them will be pumped one stack at a time into the circuit assembler to craft the circuit. And then they'll be extracted out into here. But there's one issue you may see. So let's say we extract all of the items, craft the circuit, and the circuit comes out into the LV thing. What's stopping it from pulling it using the green extract back into this chest and then back into here? Absolutely nothing. That's why we gotta set a basic item filter to make sure we blacklist extracting microcircuits. If you don't do this, you will get clogs and it'll be very annoying. Alright, and now for the outside. First off, we'll set a dark steel buffer chest right here and have a crafting pipe attached to it. Now we're going to want to get the circuit and Control-Shift-A to pop it up here, and then manually set all of the components, as well as the output. This will now set it as the chest it expects to dump all the inputs in and receive the output from. Next up, when I set an item conduit that obviously needs to be separated, insert brown, extract green. And then this is extract brown, insert green. And the same problem can happen here that we see on the inside, where it will extract the output from the input chest and put it back into the system. So for that, we just want to make sure we blacklist inserting microprocessors into the machine hole. Sometimes this is a perfect time for this bug, so I got to explain it to you. It won't enter after you build it. All you need is a dolly to pick it up and place it again, and it'll immediately work. Alright, hey, I am recording this part after I recorded the rest of the video, so forgive me, it looks a little different. Another very important thing I totally forgot about in the video is that you do not want to use these crafting logistics pipes for the input chest. You want to use a Mark I pipe with a crafting module in it that has the crafting recipe on it. The reason for this is there is another very annoying bug with logistics pipes where it'll input everything to the chest. If it doesn't work, you obviously have to grab your dolly, pick it up, place it down again, and it'll all go through perfectly. But when it comes back out, the output circuit will be stuck in this chest and unable to leave. And the fix for it is to take the crafting module out and put it back in again. And it'll work perfectly, as long as you didn't log off the server in the meantime or anything. And that is, as far as I've found, the only way to fix it. I'm sure someone much smarter than me can find a way to make it completely foolproof, but this works well enough for me. That's all. Alright, that is my little design of ore processing and a automated clean room that I use in my world all the way up until EV. And the best part about the automated clean room design is I am fairly certain, I haven't done it yet, that you can hook up a ME interface in the place of these dark steel chests and put in patterns in all of them, and then have the Ender IO pipe both input into it and then also extract from it. And then you can effectively use this exact same setup except with AE, which I think is really cool. Alright, hope I see you guys using this setup in your world eventually. It's no universal processing or anything, but you know, it's cool, I guess.